Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. It sounds beautiful. Thank you. An applause for the band. As we all know, nothing strikes the heart like music. And it's apparent that these two are striking hearts for the rest of the evening. My name is Al Gardner, and I'm a graduate this quarter of Evergreen State College in Tacoma. Thank you very much. I'll be your MC for a small part of the evening, simply because the dean told me I should. You know, obedience is really, really nice, right? Once again, thank you. Thank everybody for coming to our Founders Day celebration. Of course, as always, not just today, but as much as we can, we always like to celebrate the accomplishments of Dr. Mims. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And although each and every one of you are important to us in our community, I would also like to say a very, very, very heartfelt thanks for the attendance of Dr. Carmichael, Dr. Gordon, the dean, our professors, the community members, and the students that I know from school, and everybody that's here. This thing works as a collaborative project. Nothing works up on this hill without everybody putting their footprint in it. I know that. Amen? And I'm very, very, very thankful for the leadership that I was shown 2 years ago when I got out of the military in order to come here. There was 4 or 5 schools that was calling me, but there was only one my heart was led to. Amen? For real. I love this place. I love this place. What do they say? Find something that you would like to do that doesn't pay and you know you love it. That's me. I love this place. And I love each and every one of you guys for coming up. I really do. Thank you for being here. It's very important to us as a school, and it's very important to us as a community. And we plan on being here for the rest of the time the community is here. All right? All right, all right, all right. Well, I'm going to sit down, and without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring up our dean, and she'll go ahead on and start today's celebration. And anything she asks me to do, I'll be right there to do what she tells me to do, okay? All right, Dean Tatarunga.
Thank you. Excellent job. Thank you so much, Albert. Yes, you know, when we get students who come and show that kind of loyalty, we know we're doing something right. And we are in a good place. We welcome all of you to a safe place, a place of joy, a place in which we are celebrating the anniversary of Evergreen State College, to give great homage to our own founder, Dr. Maxine Bowie Mims. Thank you. And in the tradition of people of African descent, I will ask you, Dr. Mims, all you have to do is say yes, okay? May I have permission to continue? I know. Dr. Mims being the founder of Evergreen State College, Tacoma. This is not the first site. There have been many sites. The first site was in her own kitchen. And she brought students into her kitchen to be educated, I think maybe half a dozen. From there, she moved to the Puyallup Indian House, a very small place in which Ramona Bennett was still fighting to have even a space of land, just a pinch of land that she could call the Puyallup Indian House. And when she got it, she said, "Come, Evergreen State College, Tacoma, come and make your home at the Puyallup Indian House." And I want to pay homage to the Puyallup Indians of this territory. Yes. It is from them, their ancestors who rest on this land, that we are here. And we want to pay homage to them and never forget what they have sacrificed for us to be here. Ashe. And I'd like to also thank the parents of Dr. Maxine Bowie Mims, Mr. and Mrs. Bowie. Thank you they gave birth to their last baby girl, one of 5, and she is the youngest. So you can imagine how spoiled she was. Oh, thank you. Correction, how spoiled she is. But nonetheless, what a treasure, what a gift that they gave to the universe. And we in the Pacific Northwest have benefited. Dr. Mims began her career at Leschi Elementary School in Seattle. And this is at a time when even African American teachers, although they were well trained, and they were trained from some of the historically black colleges in the United States, some of the best ones. And she traveled here with her husband, who was an engineer for Boeing and brought here to this area to be that. And this is a time when teachers teaching in a classroom as a black woman, this was really an anomaly. People had to wrap their heads around it. And yet it was where she started. From there, she carried on. She was even called by the Nixon administration to be the undersecretary for women's affairs. And she stayed there through the time of Richard Nixon's tenure. Yes, she's a proud Republican. We'll talk to her about that later. She found her way to Evergreen State College in 1972 at the advent of Evergreen State College. And she was in Olympia, traveling there every day, commuting, finding this amazing curriculum, this amazing pedagogy, a way in which liberatory education came alive. It was the first time people actually said, we can teach people without these structures that are confining them, the structures that are making them constricted in their learning, not free. And Dr. Mims was having dinner one day in a restaurant over here, I believe it was Brown's Grill, where she likes steak. I don't think she eats that much steak anymore, but she was eating and there were big booths at that restaurant. And so she sat in one restaurant eating her food, and there were some women behind her in another booth, and they were saying, you know, I heard there's a woman who's educated. She drives all the way to Olympia. Yeah, she leaves us. Oh yeah, she's not interested in Tacoma. Oh no, all of us who need to be educated, she goes over us. She drives on that freeway and goes to Olympia and educates those people over there. And Dr. Mims is licking her lips, eating her food, thinking, they're talking about me. She gets up and goes to the table and she says, I am that woman you're talking about. And if you are serious about an education, meet me at my house on Saturday and I will get you started. That is the beginning of Evergreen State College, Tacoma campus. Yes. And that was 50 years ago. Today we are celebrating not 10 years, not a decade, not even 2 decades, not even 3. We are celebrating 50 years of service. Dr. Mims retired and is still giving on a regular basis to make sure that Evergreen State College is vibrant and strong and thriving. And so I thank you in front of the public today for the service you have continued to give, for your lovely, vibrant life. Doesn't she look so beautiful? Yes, we're so honored, Dr. Mims. Yes, thank you for giving me permission. I've learned, and she's the one who taught me, ask permission later. Get it done, ask the permission later. She has many of those jewels, and we are happy that you are here. This is not the first celebration, but this is our reception. And as Dr. Mims says, her birthday is all month long. And so is the celebration of Evergreen State College. And as it was mentioned by our esteemed Master of Ceremonies, we are so honored that our president of Evergreen State College is here today. And I'd like to call him forward to welcome you here and to acknowledge the occasion. I give you Dr. John Carmichael.
Thank you, Dean Taterunga. It's such an honor for me to be here serving as Evergreen's president and to extend to you, Dr. Mims, congratulations and birthday wishes. We're here celebrating such an amazing legacy. And we can talk about that legacy sometimes like it's a building. This building is 21 years old. It's beautiful. But Dr. Tatarunga's taught us that it's not about this building. Before there was this building, there was another building. And before that building, there was another building. We can see that legacy trace from Dr. Mims through Dr. Hardiman, Dr. Young, Dr. Smith, now Dr. Tatarunga. We can see that legacy in the alumni who are here. We can see that legacy in the students and the young people, the future students who are here. It's an incredible legacy. And we sometimes talk about Dr. Mims' legacy like it's a Tacoma legacy. I spend most of my days on the Olympia campus, and I can tell you, your handprint is clear on the Olympia campus as well. What Dr. Mims has taught us is if we're moving forward, it's not about a building. It's about the community where we're located, that we're rooted in. It's about community. It's about people. It's about family. The path forward for the college for the next 50 years is about community. It's about people. It's about family. And that's a lesson that we've learned from Dr. Mims, both in Tacoma and in Olympia. So Dr. Mims, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for what you've given us. And my close colleague, who I'm about to invite forward, is another person who holds the legacy of this college going forward, helping us build the next 50 years. Another person who has a deep record of connecting educational institutions to the communities that they're located in, the communities that support them, the communities that they serve. I'm happy to invite forward Dr. Dexter Gordon.
Thank you very much, President Carmichael. Thank you, Al. Thank you, Dean Tatarunga. It is an honor to meet Maxine Mims the way I met her in community, is to meet an educator in her classroom, out in the streets, out in people's lives, out where change matters. I met Maxine Mims working to get public education students back in the classroom when the system put them out on the basis of disciplining them, moving them away from education to discipline them about education. And that's where I met Maxine Mims. I was new in the area, and she said, we have work for you to do. And Al, I know what it is when your teacher says, do something. You do it. And I have joined Evergreen now. I've been in Evergreen now for 6 months as the executive vice president. So take a shot. There you go. And I am part of Evergreen because of Maxine Mims. I didn't know that. That was 19 years ago when I came to this region and started doing this work. I only knew Maxine Mims as in this community. And from Maxine Mims, I got to find out about Joy Hardiman and found out about this building and the work going on here. So I would like to say to anyone listening to me, anyone in this audience, Maxine Mims embodies what education is supposed to do. Meet people where they are, give them the tools so that they will reach as far as their abilities can take them. And no other boundary should be in their lives. When I when I joined Evergreen, I found out that Maxine Mims has deep roots in Olympia. And then I've done some work with Acuna Karen Vargas, and I found out that Maxine Mims's work is in Bremerton and Kitsap County and Bainbridge Island. And here Karen invited me over to Bainbridge Island to do some work with them. And I thought I was original. But Dr. Maxine Mims, you have blazed a trail for us. The path is clear, and we follow with admiration. We may not find Goldilocks, but we will do the kind of education that's necessary. The Goldilocks thing is an inside joke between Dr. Mims and I. She tells me that Goldilocks is the key to understanding all of Western literature. So that's why I go in search of Goldilocks all the time. But Dr. Mims, 94 years old. I want to be as vibrant and as good looking as you are when I reach anything near 94. I'm inspired every time I sit with you. 50 years of service to Evergreen, and you still talk to me first and foremost about the future. And that is so inspiring. I come to Evergreen, and my commitment to you and to Evergreen is that you will get the best that I've got. It's an honor to celebrate with professors, administrators, community people, and ministers of religion. I understand that part of your work in Bremerton was with the community of faith. That is just so inspiring, and I want to thank you for that work. When I do the work that challenges issues of racism and so on, people tell me sometimes that that's not the work of the church. And I just want to acknowledge the work of education crosses all of these barriers and all of these boundaries. So thank you, we honor you, and God bless you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. You are now getting to see some of the leaders of Evergreen State College, and we're so proud. Also, I'd love to call up Dr. Therese Saliba. Dr. Saliba came all the way from Olympia. She is the vice president for the IESS, Inclusion and Excellence for Student Success. Did I do it? I give you my friend and colleague.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks, Dr. Tatarunga. And it's a pleasure to be here to honor you, Dr. Mims. When I first came to Evergreen in the mid-1990s, I was told Evergreen is a place where you can have a vision and make it happen. And your legend was already really strong. I mostly, like John, am mostly down in Olympia, but we carried your legend. And when we talk about inclusive excellence and student success, that's kind of a new phrase that we use these days, but it's something you were doing back in the 80s. You were making education open to everyone across communities and making higher ed available to folks who wouldn't have access to higher ed. And that's what we're doing and working on in our division. We really appreciate our partnership with Evergreen Tacoma. They serve, and you all serve, as a model for creating welcome, belonging, creating a space where the heart of the community is really felt. I was sitting next to a community member who said, Evergreen Tacoma really feels like the heart of the hilltop region. Yeah. And people come together, and you have events in your parking lot, supporting sister circles and the homeless community, and really doing the work of community here. And you've been an inspiration to us. You personally, the whole Evergreen Tacoma community is an inspiration to us. And you really represent the mission of Evergreen, that stands for racial equity, social justice, access, and peace in our communities. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. And at this time, I'd like to also hear from our marketing department, who is here, and they've helped put together some really wonderful treats that you will get when you leave Evergreen's Tacoma today. And Kelly, would you please come forward and say a word or two from our marketing at Evergreen State College? I give you Kelly Von Holt. I'm getting better.
Thank you, Tatarunga. It's such a pleasure to be here, Dr. Mims. I'm new to Evergreen, not as new as Dr. Gordon, but I've been here almost a year. And the first time I walked through Evergreen Tacoma's doors, I was like, I grew up right down the road and I didn't know. So my dream is to continue lifting up Evergreen and Evergreen Tacoma. So I commit to you. That's what I'm gonna do.
So I thought it was important to introduce you to Kelly because we have been working together. And since Dr. Mims' birthday, we have put several ads in the newspapers, in the local dailies. And so far, we have encouraged people to donate to Dr. Mims. We have the Dr. Maxine Mimms Endowment Fund in her name for perpetuity. And we said, consider adding to this fund. And just by our ads so far, I haven't checked again, but by March 4th, which was her birthday, we had collected over $500. So we hope it'll grow from there. So I want to thank you. Yes, because she made sure it's in the Medium newspaper, the Tacoma Citizen, the Tribune, and this is a collaboration to make sure that we let people know there's such a fund. And with that fund, every year, at least $1,000 or a little bit more is given to a student who is at Evergreen State College, Tacoma. And so to keep that going and to strengthen it, we want to encourage people to donate to it. And it will always be in the name of Dr. Maxine Mims. So wonderful. I think I have almost all of the Evergreen heads, except for I see Gary Woodard, and I'd love to ask him to step forward. Donna Griffin is also here, and we'll call her shortly. But Gary is the president of the Sankofa Foundation. Yes. And he will tell you the year he graduated, but this is such an empowered organization, a part of everything we do. And I'm so glad you're here. And I know he's a great admirer of Dr. Mims and she of him. So, Gary, thank you.
Yes. First, let me say, Dr. Mims, I love you. And I don't blame you. I would have told her no, too. Because I'm the executive director of the Sankofa Foundation, not president. And if you want to make donations, let me explain. The Sankofa Foundation was founded here on campus so that we can raise money for scholarship funds. And each year, we give scholarships to the students who attend this campus here, regardless if it's the lower level or the upper level classes. But if you give money to the endowment, that's good too, because all we care about is that a student gets some assistance. That's all we care about. Well, Dr. Mims, I hope I can say 84 someday. You're looking good. 94, excuse me. You're looking good. I try to keep you younger, but you know what? They didn't want to hear it. 94. Don't let her know everything? Okay. I won't tell her about how you asked me to come and pick you up and bring you to the campus sometime. I don't know about that. Okay. All right. This campus and Dr. Mims' legacy means so much to me because I was once in the military. I was in the Air Force. And this gentleman was running around telling me that, hey, if you really want to go back to school, you should go up there to Tacoma and check that campus out. Evergreen. I said, well, Evergreen's down in Olympia. That's where I live. They said, no, you got to go to Tacoma. And I came up and I met Dr. Hardeman. And we was at the other building, and Dr. Young was my advisor. And I made it through. And it was fun, and I really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed the motto here, enter to learn, leave to serve. Yes, that has always touched my heart. And since I'm not as well of a speaker as the other gentleman before me, I'm gonna ask Donald to come up.
This is Donna Griffin, the president of the Alumni Club.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to first of all thank you for coming out and joining us today at the Tacoma campus. I want to give honor to Dr. Mims, our Queen Mother. We love you. Yes, happy birthday again. I don't know what all Gary said. As you know, I was working up front, so I just want to let you know that I'm a graduate of the Tacoma program. Yes, I graduated in 2002. And I've been serving as the alumni president for a few years now. I don't know how long, a long time. But I think it's important that we keep the organization going. So if I have to do it, I have to do it. No problem. So I also was an employee here after I graduated. I worked here for probably about 3 years, and I've been gone for a long time. And now I'm back filling in for Marla German. I don't know if you guys know her or not, but she was been here for 17 years, something like that. Almost 20 years, yeah. So I'm filling in for her. I actually had the position before she did. And I'm happy to be here. And Evergreen Tacoma puts on some wonderful events. We're glad that, you all came out, and always, if you know of anyone that is interested in getting their degree, this is a perfect place to send them. So thank you for coming out.
Thank you, you guys. Excellent. No, you did good. It's so important to know where you go when you leave here. When you graduate, you go to the Alumni Club. So we can never forget where you're from and to call you back. It's a circle. So we say, let this circle be unbroken. So the alumni is very, very important. All right, let's move to a little bit of community now. And I'm just thinking, I'm so grateful to see so many colleagues here from different places. And first, I want to really acknowledge Seattle Central College in the house. Yes. I was trying to figure out, should I acknowledge Seattle Central College or Seattle University first? But I have to acknowledge Seattle Central because that's where I came from. And my dear colleague, Dr. Valerie Hunt is here. And also our dear colleague together is our Dr. Carl Livingston. I'm sorry, Carl, I blanked. Not that I'm getting old or anything. Dr. Carl and Dr. Valerie, please come and acknowledge Dr. Mims. We have worked with you together. And Dr. Livingston is from the Tacoma Hilltop, by the way. And so he's coming back home when he comes to Evergreen, Tacoma. So here you go.
Thank you so much, Dean. And I would prefer to call you either director or to call you president of this school here. And I hope I ain't starting problems saying that, but I feel like that this school has done the work of a real university that could be the sister to the campus down in Olympia. And I hope I didn't make anybody mad. I want to say right away, it's to everyone, especially to the head of that Evergreen College, that our distinguished queen here has not only influenced this city and influenced education in the greater Tacoma area, but Dr. Maxine Mimms has influenced Seattle Central College. Because you see, Seattle Central College was started because they only wanted at that campus a vocational school. And the community rose up and said, no, you will not do that. You're going to...
Nope, they said.
Say it. And so the community demanded a full-fledged school. And when that school, a full-fledged school finally started, with the help of the Black Panthers and others that blocked the road to make sure that we changed the agenda to have a full-fledged school, we had to have a model. The model that we looked to for the diversity and the uniqueness and heritage of our school was the model that Dr. Maxine Mimms had started here. We became the little sister to this school right here. And in 2001, I believe it was, you correct me if I'm off here a little bit, we became Community College, Time Magazine Community College of the Year because of our diversity, which had a lot to do with our queen right here. That story needs to be told. The history of it needs to be, in addition to that, I'm old enough to know, I'm 62 years old, I've been teaching at Seattle Central as basically the head of the political science department since 1990. And when I first started, because of the schools I came from, they said, listen, we're going to bring you around, but don't you say nothing until you learn what it is we already know, because we're not coming from a traditional Eurocentric model. All I knew was slavery and Martin Luther King, and they said, you got a long way to go, son. And the point that I'm trying to make is there were so many conferences. There were so many national studies that were being done on the coordinated studies model, the integrated learning model, and a lot of that had to do with our queen right here. This history needs to be preserved because the campus at Olympia is considering this school not a cul-de-sac, not something that's just done over there, but unique and central to everything that Evergreen is about. And to further this, and I'm sure the queen still has more vision left to bring out of her. And so I'm hoping that I'm not stepping on toes. I'm hoping I'm not, but I ain't got a lot of friends anyway. There ain't a lot of people that like me. What I wanted to do is I wanted you to know that our queen has a Seattle heritage too. She has a Seattle Central College heritage. She has a national heritage, and the story needs to be fully told.
Beloved Dr. Mims, you know I was taught by my grandmothers and my great-grandmothers that the fear is the beginning of wisdom. That means the fear of your grandmama and your elders is the beginning of wisdom. That's why I always tell you, I love to see you, but I'm always scared to see you because it's all about the right kind of fear. Fear, the ability to know that if I don't come correct, that those before you, mother and all, that I'm letting them down. And so if you came this far, I need to bring the right kind of respect and observance. And that's what I do all the time. Every time we have an event, I would say to Brother Amon, let Dr. Mims know that we're having an event, even if she cannot come because she's the elder. We cannot have any event without her knowing that. I would do that every single time because that's what has to happen. And what I'd like to say is this. I love the people. You love the people. You can't lead the people unless you love the people. But you can't love the people if you don't know the people. So you know people's mama, baby, daddy, you know where they, so, and that's why I guess she wiped the steak off her mouth when I was saying, I'm the one you talking about, because that meant I love the people. And so from that, I learned from you that the way in which you love has multifacets. As we say in the 42 Principles of Maud, you know how to love people. And so for what I'd like to offer is this. Everywhere I go, I tell people that there is a stardust, and we know that all Black people came from the universe. That there is a stardust that if you come to Seattle, you need to make sure that she is aware that you're there. That stardust is there. So thank you. And the connection I have with Dr. Taterunga is that we both went through Pacific Oaks College. I taught at Pacific Oaks College. I took a pay cut because I wanted to go to a place that taught like you taught. It's back in 1992. I said, I want to go to a place. I don't care how much y'all pay me. I just need to I want to teach 2 classes because I wanted to teach like you're saying. And that's how come we resonate. So I'm so glad and so humble. Okay, and I'm going to still be scared. Thank you.
That's Seattle Central College in the house. Awesome. Thank you so much. I think Dr. Deborah Sullivan is not with us. She was here earlier, and Dr. Deborah Sullivan was the dean of Pacific Oaks College that we're talking about. So sorry that she had to leave, but we're full of educators in this room, and so many more can be called. And I would like to, at this time, introduce to you Gary Kente Perry. Dr. Gary Kente Perry. And Dr. Perry is the director of the African American Studies Department at Seattle University. And he is of much more that I'd like you to share. You know, you get this mic and you can just explain everything. Thank you. I give you a brilliant, wonderful leader of our community, Dr. Perry.
Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dean Marcia. Greetings, Dr. Mims, and greetings to everybody gathered. You know, this is really sacred ground, and I believe we know that. And in such sacred ground, I've learned, as the elders and others have said before me, you do have to come correct. But you also have to come with an understanding that what is sacred here is also meant to go beyond. And so it's that what I come with. I know Seattle U is my connection. You know, like so many young Black folks, we're just trying to find that job. But the truth of the matter is, Seattle University is like so many white institutions, another plantation. But my ability to be in that plantation is because I understand those who came before me, what they had to put up with, the doors they had to push down, the people they had to navigate in those snake-infested waters, were people like Dr. Maxine Mims. And that there was a duty, even on the plantation, for some of us to still fight. But as we fight, to bring others along with us. Because that is what Dr. Maxine Mims has taught me and taught so many others. That we don't get inside of those institutions just to take it as a badge of honor. You get inside because you have an assignment. And that assignment has required me to make sure that I never forget not only whose shoulders I stand on, but whose shoulders have also lifted me, protected me, and comforted me when those fights became weary. And Dr. Maxine Mims, your shoulders have held so many. Your shoulders have comforted so many. But more importantly, your vision has inspired us all. And so I come with that gratitude, but I also come with a recognition, as has been said by so many others, that your impact, again, cannot be contained by 4 walls. Because we've seen that impact transcend time and space. And some of the spaces it has transcended that I must speak to, Dean Marcia Tater-Runga, has been the powerful work inside of our prisons, inside of our jails, inside of places where some of us would never want to be. And so I come also as someone who's a student of our Black Prisoners Caucus, which, as it was said by Dr. Livingston, not only did you inspire the creation of Seattle Central, you inspired the creation of the Black Prisoners Caucus University. The ability to show us all what liberation looks like, even if you don't have a release date. Work that has been captured in another person who we often talk so much about, and that's Dr. Gilda Shepherd and her film. That is the inspiration of a Dr. Maxine Mims. Your footprint has also been felt when I would be as a young Black man who didn't know many people in Seattle, but knew to find them by going to what we call Lim's bookstore, the book center. It was in that space where we had critical conversations with Dr. Maxine Mims. Conversations that no university would even understand because it was a conversation that was spiritual. It was a conversation that was for the people. And that is where we knew to find you. I want to also say that your impact has been that of the People's Institute for Survival and Beyond, which, by the way, its co-founder, its 81-year-old brother Ronald Chisholm is here, and hopefully we'll get a chance to connect with Dr. Mims later this evening. But as many of you know, we are also doing some work, and some of you will be there later as a retreat. But we regret that it had to conflict on this day. But we also know that, again, while we're not present here, the impact is still felt. And I also want to say in closing, Dr. Mims, that impact has been felt by what we call our Village of Hope. Folks like the Mrs. Mary Flowers, one of our many elders in training, who, while she's not here, her heart and her soul knows that without a Dr. Maxine Mims, none of this and none of this would be here. And we come to you again saying thank you, thank you, thank you for the shoulders and for the vision. Thank you, Dr. Mims.
You did not disappoint. Dr. Gary Kente Perry. Wow. Thank you so much. So important. So important. I'd like to acknowledge community just a little bit. We are honored by the presence of the First Lady, Mrs. Davis. I want to tell you, this is not just the First Lady of the church. I remember Bethel Church, and there are many others. She's mega churches that her and her husband have run. She's also the mother of 13 children. And one of her daughters is also present, another pastor, Miss Davis. And then her son is Mr. Timothy Davis, who was on the drums tonight. So there he is. Just wave. Thank you so much, Timothy. Just bringing music, bringing joy, bringing sacred space. We so appreciate you. And thank you for giving birth to 13 children. You know, we had a sister circle earlier here today, and they were like, I've got 2 children and I'm tired. And another one said, well, I got 3, I got 4, but they tired. The champion had 5. She's still there holding up. But you all don't know anything about 13. So I just honor you for that. Thank you. Yes, and how you embraced Dr. Mims and encompassed her in this religious community. And Dr. Mims went into Kitsap County, as Akuye will tell you in a minute when I call on students, Akuye. Even though Akuye is kind of community and student, but we're going to give you your time to talk about that history that Dr. Mims actually went to basements of churches and educated pastors, and was very successful in bringing those community people up a notch with that degree that she could bestow from Evergreen State College, Tacoma. So she was using this opportunity to educate beyond these 4 walls. And that is such an important thing to say. So thank you so much again. I want to call on community people now. You know, she's part of a huge community, you know, and Dr. Mims is interesting. She has pockets. This pocket may not know about that pocket. And that pocket over there may not know about that one. So, we do know every year Oprah continues to send her bouquets of flowers on her birthday. So she is nationally recognized. Her dear friend, Maya Angelou, and their family continue to come through and honor Dr. Mims. And so these are just some of the people that she has come to know. But at this time, I would like to call on a very special person from our community, Lakima Bell. Lakima is from Seattle. She works for the Parks Department in the city of Seattle, runs a bunch of contracts. She's a contractor, so she knows where all the money is buried. And she has been an activist, a master African dancer. And we look forward to the day she will come and teach right here in this Lyceum. I give you Lakima Bell.
Okay. Well, thank you, Dr. Mims. It's always an honor. And I got a little story to tell. So I come from two roads that met in the center. And these two roads help to inform who I am. And one road, many people may kind of or may not understand. My family on one side is through the trenches, and we had all the things that negative stereotypes could be, all the things. We don't have to discuss them, but we know what those things are. And then we had my mother's side, which was moving through and bringing me education and learning and exposing me to the culture. But see, what it is that both of those things fed into me. Right? So I have the hustling spirit, right? I have that spirit because it's necessary for you to be what they call ghetto fabulous. Ghetto fabulous means that you are creative, right? Ghetto fabulous means that you take what you have and make it what you want. This is something that I've seen Dr. Mims do from that crossroad when I met her. I met her when I was 12, I think. Might have been something else. We were at the Mecca. I don't know if you all remember the Mecca. It was on 23rd and Union in Seattle. It's one of our cultural hubs. And I was there, and I was trying to get a computer or something. And I was telling her the story about the computer, and I was a little weepy and whatnot. And she said, "What you crying for?" She said, "Well, if you want the computer, then you need to figure out how to get it." Right? And you certainly ain't coming from me. And I awakened because what happened, that was my daddy's side coming on in. Because my daddy had a little piece about working some pieces to get what he wanted. And I didn't realize that was coming up in me. And she was able to say, "Hold up," and brought it back. Right? So I then learned that was creeping, right? I was able to start to do introspective thinking at 12, right? So it's important to understand what's coming up. To just because it come up, don't mean that you act on it, right? See, this is a learning that occurred at 12 from her and has served me really well. Served me well, right? Served me to the point that we now have a grant that we wrote for so we can provide youth jobs this summer. Last year we got $250,000. This year we got $500,000, and we are looking to continue to get these dollars. These are helping youth to be able to, one, learn emotional intelligence, right? Understand introspective reflection, and know that whatever you need is already there. You just need to take what you have and make it what you want. Dr. Mims is a demonstration of that in every level. And if it's all with the intention of love, if it's all about edification and I mirror you and you mirror me, and together we're we, then you will see that impact multiplied in her legacy. And I'm just going to tell y'all don't get mad, but Dr. Maxine Mims called me Little Maxine, y'all. I didn't name me, but she did. You heard? And being called Little Maxine, what? It's a true honor. It's a true honor, and I live to it every day. When I'm the only Black person in the room and we're talking about where some funds is about to go, Little Maxine, come on up. Oh no, we're going to get these funds over here. So I want to say to you that I will continue to take what I have and make it what I want. I will continue to edify, lift, and inspire people to reach their truest and highest potential. I will do this as I live in this physical life and through my spiritual self. And I thank you for that introspective learning as well. I love you.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, at this time, James, did James go away from us? Okay. Is that Karen? Oh, may I call you up, please? What an honor that you have come to our building. Yes, this is, please, if you don't mind, if you do mind, don't worry, I'll just acknowledge you. Okay, and Dr. Mims cannot see you. And I introduce to you Karen Turing, grant writer extraordinaire. Yes, Karen Turing, so awesome. Recently retired, but never tired. Still doing work, in fact, in Tacoma Hilltop. About to give gifted money. She's gifting money to many organizations, millions in the Hilltop of Tacoma now. I'm sorry to put you on blast, but you know you need to be here and share this good news.
Oh my goodness. I just came to witness. I came to witness all of the love, all of the beautiful things. This is my first time on this campus. And as I was driving up, I was thinking about all that it took. So this stands long after we're all gone. And I am deeply, deeply appreciated. I'm deeply, deeply honored just to be here and to witness. And that's really all I have to say today, y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you. So one of the things that I am doing as part of my day job on my plantation is working for a small foundation that does an interesting kind of grant making, which is why I am, what do you call it, retired, not retired? Because the grant making model is one that we don't normally see as we do our work. And this particular model requires that the organizations that are selected then decide where the money goes, right, amongst themselves. And so in the next few months, we will be talking to folks in Tacoma, because this is where the funder wants to fund. And we will be asking you, who is doing good work here? Whose work can you see here? So this is how we do our grant making. We go out into the community and we ask, who's doing good work? Evergreen is doing good work. And then we bring that information back to the grant making panel, which are also Tacoma residents. So I'm looking for people to review grant applications. And the community makes the selection. And once the community makes the selection, the group takes $2.5 million over the course of 5 years. They make decisions on how to spend that money amongst themselves, and we support that decision making. So tell me, I'm looking for a few good organizations, and I know y'all know some. So yes you do. Yes, you do. But I'm here for her. Today, in this moment, I am here for you, Dr. Mims. Exactly. We nominate ourselves. And to be in the shadow of this amazing human being and to see the work, I can point to this North Star and say, this is the legacy that I want to lead. And all of us can point to this North Star sitting right here and saying, let me walk in those footsteps as closely as I can and do an infinitesimal amount of the work that you've been able to do, and the world will be so much better because you are here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, Karen. I know that I was looking for James, and I know James has his children there. I just want to acknowledge you for the work you do working with people in employment. Union man teaches people about their rights in employment. Well done, and working also with the Black Prisoners Caucus and the People's Institute. I want to acknowledge Makeda Ebube. Yes. The mother of Lakima Bell, but Makeda Ebube in her own right is an educator. Her master's degree is in education from Antioch University, and she too is a mastered African dancer. But what she refers to herself is a movement specialist. And she understands the meridians of the body, how we can heal ourselves through movement. And she takes that very seriously. And so I really honor you for being here for that. I want to recognize Dr. Stephanie Flagg. I almost forgot your last name. Yes. Stephanie Flagg, radiologist, retired. So grateful you come to Evergreen every chance you get, and we really appreciate your support. We hope you'll be able to mentor our young people more around science and just to love healing as you have done for your whole career. And I want to acknowledge Verda Washington, who is my partner on the Yes, Verda. We to sit together on the City of Tacoma's Heal the Heart coordinating team. And we are two of about 20 community people who the mayor has brought together. I'm very proud to be on that team. And Verda and I have worked together. She also has an experience in the ministering in the prison. I acknowledge Pamela Taylor, Dr. Pamela Taylor. Also, yes. She was the chair, I believe, of the education department. Okay, I just elevated you. But she is retired. Yes, and we are just so grateful. I know you did lots of work in race and pedagogy at Seattle University, and what an honor that you have come to be with us today. All right, and I really acknowledge all of you, but right now we're going to bring up our own Akuye. I've asked, Timothy, we're going to give you time to work your way over here. We want a little low music for this. And I want to acknowledge, I've already told you about Timothy, but this young man on the stage is my son, Owor Arunga. Yes. What an amazing genius musician. He is known around the world, has worked with several bands, and he now is going to give us a real low sound with Timothy, and we're doing this to prepare for our own Akuye Karen Vargas as she comes forward and shares what's on the stage, and then she can give her tribute to Dr. Mims. On behalf of all students, I give you Akuye Karen Vargas.
Hey, family. Hey, family. You know, before I give you the tour, I have to honor Dr. Maxine Mims. I have to begin to just tell you the story. I have gone over to Dr. Mims' home. I had taken several students and several of our community members there. And I began to say, Dr. Mims, I just lost my aunt. You know, I've come back from the East Coast and I've gotten all of these portraitures of my family members. And I don't even know who they were. I don't know, you know, my own family. And she said, so what you gonna do? And I sat there and that thing pierced me because tears just began to well up in me. because I understood that my identity had been severed some kind of way. I didn't even know my own loved ones, my own family members. And so I began to meditate, and I was there with Marva Jones and all our students. And Marva began to share some of her stories as well. And then she said, well, what are you two little black girls gonna do? You know, because Marva's an educator, early education. She's in that. She's been in that profession for over 30 years. And I began to sit back and I began to meditate. And she says, well, show me what you got. And I began to flip the pages and begin to show her all the faces, and the eyes began to pierce my soul. And I began to say I had to search for my own identity. I had to understand who I was. And that began a journey for me. And then I was able to get those portraits, and some of the portraits you see hanging here on display. And if you take a walk through some of them, you know, and this is just a little piece of the history. And I began to find out where we were, where we came from, where we originated from. I went back to UW for the genealogy and family history because I needed to get some tools and some skills to be able to research them and find out all of where their footprints were. And so I began to put all of that down and begin to do the research. And then something else came up. You know, I went to a gentleman's house. It was Mr. Gerald Laram, and he began to say, I want to show you something, Miss Karen. And he began to walk from room to room, from room to room, and room to room, showing me my ancestors, and the footprints of my ancestors. He took me on a tour throughout his entire mansion. And he said, look, this came from this region. And look, this came from that region. And he began to say, yes, and this was from Ghana, and this was from here, and this was from there, and this was from there. And he began from room to room to room to begin to share the story. And all I could do, I busted out in tears. Because I said, this European man knows more about me than I know about me. And so I began to say, something rose up in me. And I said, no longer will I be severed from my own identity. If I have to search for myself and search for the footprints of African Americans and our connection to where we were stolen. I said, we are stolen people brought to a stolen land. We don't even know our traditions. We don't even know our practices. We don't know our families. So I began to say, okay, all right, Lord, you done placed all of this in my heart and in my mind and in my spirit. What do you want me to do now? So I began to call Mr. Lamb, and I said, Mr. Lamb, can I get some of that art you got? Can I get some of those artifacts? I need to know where they came from. I need to know the story of why you even collected them. What possessed you to begin to gather our history? And then you brought it all the way back to this Pacific Northwest region. And then what you did was you put it in your home, and nobody even knew it was there until I had the opportunity to walk through the rooms and begin to glean. So I said, I want to curate some of these pieces. I want to take them to the museum. I want to be able to show them for Black History Month at Bajala Museum of Art. Can I have some? And he said, yes, Miss Karen, you can have some. So then began the journey, that search, that journey with Mr. Laram. And then Mr. Laram took ill. And then he passed away. and everything kind of came to a standstill. And I said, well, what am I going to do now? And so I called up his wife and I began to talk to Miss Lois. And I said, Miss Lois, can we continue the work that we do? This is about truth and reconciliation. This is about healing our community, our culture, our history. We need to connect the dots from where we came from. So she began to say, yes, Miss Karen, you come over and you can pick out some more items to be able. And so one by one, I would get a piece. 2 by 2, I get another piece. 3 by 3, I would get another piece. And then in Kitsap County, Kidnap County, I call it. No, but we don't want to call it that, but that's what the community calls it. Because they know that their footprints as African American communities have been erased. It has been erased. So I began to have Black History Month celebrations, Juneteenth celebrations, Martin Luther King celebrations, community engagement. And then I said, well, we're outnumbered here. There's only a very little of us here in this county. So I began to work with the European community. And I began to say, your story, my story, your story. This is all of this is human story. And we need to begin to heal our history. So we began to celebrate hidden history, and we would begin to celebrate our land and our history. We began to do these things, begin to make an impact in the community, begin to teach. We take the exhibit to the school. We take them to community celebrations, and we would begin to share the culture. But then I said, our little Black children, they don't know who they are. They struggle in the school systems because they're being racially bullied. And they can't even, they're trying to fit in. They're trying to be able to find a place where they are accepted, where they can be valued. And I said, you know, one thing my Bishop Lawrence Ray Robinson taught me, which he got from Dr. Maxine Mimms, was it's a poor dog that won't wag its own tail. And I said, what you mean? Well, if we as African Americans don't celebrate ourselves, who will? Who will? And so we began to begin to impart some education and some wisdom and give our young people an opportunity to raise up their voices. And so we also begin to name streets in Kidnap County after African Americans. And we begin to name post office after African American leaders in Kitsap County. And we also were the originators of the Quincy Jones Project, which was co-opted by the city. But I'm going to tell the truth and shame the devil. But I say all of this because we have to continue to empower, to inspire, to educate, and to involve and create opportunities for our young people. This is Evergreen. We're sitting on sacred ground at Evergreen, where Dr. Maxine Mims went into the community and pulled up those that was in poverty and those that was on the street and gave them opportunities in the basement of our church and called them in and say, you can be somebody and you need to get your education and you need to go back and start again. We know, yeah, you might have done that. Yeah, you might have done that. But guess what? You're important. And you're valued. And you got what it takes. I'm here at Evergreen because of Dr. Maxine Mims. And we didn't want her footprints to be erased from this Pacific Northwest. So I went to Olympia and I said, how are you going to have something here in the historical archives without Dr. Maxine Mims? So we did 1968, the year that rocked Washington State. And you can't rock nothing without Dr. Maxine Mims, because she was one of the founding principles and foundations that we can stand on in this state. And that cuts across all nationalities. That cuts across all races, because she understood all human beings got worth. Everybody got worth. It don't matter who you are. And so I'm here to honor you, Dr. Maxine Mims. And you see this, Dr. Maxine Mims Living Library? We created that library in Bremerton, Washington. And we said, all little black children in Kidnap County gonna know who Dr. Maxine Mims is. When we sit down and we can talk to one another, and we can have our healing circles, and we can have our sister circles, and we can have our brother to brother circles, and we can have our family circles, and we can work like this to heal our own history, that's a living library. So I say, Dr. Maxine Mims, we honor you for all the labor of love that you have given us for your entire life. You were created just for us. Just for us. That you could speak life into us. I'll never forget when you went to the Pacific Northwest District Council and you said to all them ministers, y'all better get your degrees and let me help you. See, she didn't just say, you need to go back to school. She helped us. I'm speaking to you, little black children. She helped us. Look around. You got a whole community here that's going to help you. That's what Evergreen do. This is family. I don't just say, hey, family, just to be saying, hey, family. Because you got to speak something into existence. Even if it ain't, you make it so. That's where I got from Dr. Maxine Mims. Make it so. There's no barriers here. We remove every barrier that you're presented with. God have given us breath and life, and that we can give life. He said, life and death is in the power of your tongue. Speak forth life. Speak life into them babies. Speak life into our parents. Speak life into our educators. Educators, we have to speak life back into our communities. We can't allow our communities to die. Education plays a key role. Education, he said, my people perish because of the lack of knowledge. You can give knowledge to the homeless on the street and pull them up out of their situation. You got to give life back to life. And so I just want to honor you, Dr. Dina Runga, Dr. Maxine Mims, Mother Davis, because we stand on your shoulders. All of our elders, we stand on those that have laid down their lives that we could be able to succeed. And so I speak to the dean and the president and the vice president of Evergreen. I say to you on this day, y'all got an opportunity to change lives and to transform communities. And I say to you what Dr. Mims said to me, now you little boys and girls, what are y'all gonna do? What will you do? As leaders, what will you do? So that we can begin to speak life back into our communities, into our children, into our future. And so, Dr. Mims, we say God bless you. God strengthen you. God keep you. God nourish you. God continue to pour out his anointing upon you. That you get that 115 years that you spoke into existence. Ashe, 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 ashe.
Akuye Karen Vargas. This is one of our students. See, I'm going to show you how powerful this school is. We are not playing here. And we are so grateful to have students who can lift up the community. They were activists before they came. What we are doing is refining it. And we are connecting them to other people so that they have a farther reach. And so I just want to say thank you. And what beautiful, beautiful vibrations you brought. Thank you so much. So, MC, come forward. I believe it's time to adjourn. Not that you have to leave. We're going to enjoy some music. And we have more snacks. We have some beautiful samosas from Kenya, and they are being served at the different tables. So we would like you to please just, if there's anyone who would like to speak on behalf of Dr. Mims, just let me know. You have the mic, or let Albert know. That will be his job. He told me that I just had to put him to work. So come on up. And we will now invite anyone who would like to speak, and we can keep that vibe going.
I think you have a speaker.
There you are.
Elder Thomas.
Yes. Thank you. And Dr. Davis, I tell you, Dr. Mims. Well, Dr. Mims, when you were off of Pacific Avenue, at Evergreen State College. Yeah, on 10th and Pacific. I remember pulling up one day, and I parked my car in front of the stairway where you come. And Dr. Mims came in and she said, "Who is this guy with this car with the flashing lights and the shiny shoes?" And she really worked me over. But you know, Dr. Mims, if it hadn't have been for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. I have to say that. I started out at Evergreen State and ended up not finishing, and my wife was in the beauty shop. And Dr. Mims said, "You go tell Timothy, get himself down here right now." I came down that summer and finished off my college and graduated. Dr. Mims took good care of me. I want you to know that I love you, and you are a staple. I mean, you have done all through I know a host of ministers that you've encouraged, helped them get their degrees. I'm honored to know you. And I wouldn't let this, I said, I got to go find Dr. Mims and say something to her. Just want you to know that I love you, appreciate you. And whenever there's something to celebrate you, I'm going to be around. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you for the beautiful words. Thank you. And once again, before we go forward, I just want to go ahead and show appreciation for the Sounds of Interest. I thank you for Mr. Runga. I thank you for Mr. Davis. Thank you very much for being here. You know, it always feels a little bit better when you have a constant groove. Yes. And at this time, I'm going to go ahead on and bring up this beautiful woman that's standing over here that I don't know. It's good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Good to meet you.
Yes. I would like to share one thing that I didn't hear anyone say about Dr. Mims. I recall, I'm from Emmanuel Apostolic Church in Bremerton. My pastor, Robertson, was my wonderful pastor. And I recall Dr. Mims coming down to our church, sitting us all down, was a group of us teaching Sunday school. And I recall her asking me, why do I want to work in the field of early child education? Because I said, I like kids. She said, it's more than that. And so she began to teach me about my passion. But the one thing she taught, I never forgot. In fact, Dr. Mim, I did it on Sunday. She said, when you're teaching Sunday school, she said, teach the children about math and science and reading. She said, never separate those skills from them. So Dr. Mim, on Sunday, I had a vision and a dream the Lord had given me about my 2 little grandboys, and you just gave me some encouraging words about them. And as I was teaching those children on Sunday, I was so excited to get to church. And the Lord gave me what we learned at the council about a beautiful pathway. And I went and bought tape and put it on the floor for all the kids. And I made a stop sign, go, and I made a stop sign that says go left or right, and one that says stop. And I said, I want you to listen to my voice because we have to listen to the Holy Spirit. And I said, as you're walking around the different rows, and I put a big map in the middle of the floor. And so that was the social studies that I was giving them. And I said, I want you to walk around. And when I put the sign up that says stop, I want you to stop. But if you go and cross the little streets, I had some that was blocked off, you have to stop and look both ways. So I'm watching these children walking this road. And I said, what God wants me to tell you guys is that He is protecting you. So you have to listen and go the right way. And so don't touch any of your peers because you're crashing into them. So I began to teach this lesson on Sunday. And it was such an amazing experience. I felt the Holy Spirit saying to me, teach them math, teach them social studies, teach them English. And then we followed up with an art activity. And so the kids were so excited to tell their mom they had a good day. And I give glory to God, but I also thank you for that wonderful golden nugget. You don't separate school because church starts in the school. School is church, church is school. So I did that on Sunday, and I want to say I love you so much. And thank you for that golden nugget that I would pass on to my generation as I continue teaching.
Wonderful words, powerful words. And we do appreciate it. We do, we really do. There's a couple students here, and I'm one of them. A few of us are graduating now. So I'll just spend a few minutes talking about my experience with Dr. Mims. Last year at the Founders Day, as you know, a lot of stuff because of COVID has been through Zoom. And I was one of the give back people. So I'm sitting here, you know, we have a way to communicate on Zoom with each other, you know, by talking, you know what I'm saying? And they're like, of course, the dean, she's like, I need you to give a give back to Dr. Mims. And I was like, okay, I've never met Dr. Mims before. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on the phone calling people to get information about this woman. You know, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. When I got finished, I had hit about 8 or 10 people that gave me so much information. So I'll share with you just a little bit off my head what they gave me. A brilliant educator from throughout the Pacific Northwest, not just Tacoma, not just Seattle, over the waters, have touched Kitsap County, Pierce County, King County, Seattle, Tacoma, and these various areas and avenues. And this is what I love the most about Dr. Mims. Dr. Mims educates, period. Not people that are beautifully complected like myself or like you. People from all over the world, men, women, boys, girls, believers, non-believers, all that. She took her time to educate. And I got a story to tell you. There's a professor I had named Dr. Smith. He works here. And he told me, and I can share it, he told me, he was like, they found me outside of Brown's. They found me outside of Brown's. I used to always walk around. And he said, and they went ahead and brought me in. And I eventually became a professor. Dr. Smith is from the Hilltop. He's from here, and he works here, and he's still touching lives. I guess what I'm saying is, what she started hit somebody else, that hit somebody else, that hit somebody else, that eventually hit me. I can't wait to put my degree on the wall. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Because 27 years in the military has taught me one thing. The Lord will always give you the gift of somebody that can make a difference for the rest of your life. I really appreciate it. This is my first time meeting you. I am in awe. I love you. If there's anything I can do, get a hold of the dean, and I'm sure she'll drag me up here. Okay. At this time, let's see. There you go. There you go. I'm sorry. Okay, you ready? You look great. Okay, come on.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tara Baker. I'm this SNA board coordinator here at Tacoma. I'm about to graduate. It's funny because when I first started going to school, I honestly didn't think I'd ever make it past a certificate. I'm a single mom of 3, so trying to do school was hard. I got an associate's and I was pushed to try to go ahead and get my bachelor's. And I couldn't figure out a place to go. And it was Natalie that got a hold of me, and she was like, well, why don't you come to Tacoma? And the first time I was like, you're in Tacoma, I'm in Tumwater, you guys are really far away. And we went COVID and virtual opened up. And that was a blessing in itself, because this is the first time that I had a Black teacher. It was the first time that I ever seen a dean that was Black, a place that was founded by a Black woman. And it's where I honestly found my family. Because I grew up in West Bloomfield, Michigan, which is, I don't know if many places know that place, but it's white. It's all white. And then I went to live in Arkansas for 4 years, and even though there are a lot of Black folk, I had a really hard time connecting with people. And then I moved out here, and this place I have built 4 fantastic women, a dean that pushed me to do better. I went from thinking I couldn't do more than a certificate to I am headed for a PhD. I am coming back to be a teacher. I was like, visual sociology, that was my field. I'm sticking with it. I want to change this world. And Tacoma has given me a foundation to run that off of. It has given me inspiration, and I truly appreciate it. I have 3 boys that struggled with school, and them watching me do my homework push them to do it. My kid is a straight A student. My oldest is a straight A student, y'all. My middle child, he went from struggling in math and reading to he reads anything he can get his hands on. It don't matter. And the boy's mind is, whew. And my last one, even though he is struggling with read, the example that I've set has set my other 2 reading to my youngest child and teaching him to read to us. So I can't tell you, like, this place has given me a home. It has given my family a stepping stone. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Marzella.
Oh, blessings. Dr. Mims, I always get to come see you, and I never come to the front and thank you. And then I got a chance to thank you personally, but that's neither here nor there. But how many of you guys know it's amazing to be connected to great people? I feel like I'm a baby around all this greatness. You know, I'm sitting here like, whoa, doctor. I'm finna be a doctor. Because I'm in a room full of doctors, great people, amazing people, blessed people. And because we're connected to someone who had a vision, okay? You don't know, you met me before you actually met me, and I didn't know who you were. Forgive me. It was 2013. I was one of the volunteers that was helping with the graduation ceremony. And they said, go walk that lady to her seat. And they were urgent about it. They said, you got to get her to her seat. And I was like, I will walk her to her seat. I had no idea whose arm I had on my shoulder. But everybody else whispered about it. Do you know who you just walked to the seat? I said, the nice little lady that wanted to go to her seat. It was you. I didn't know. And I graduated in 2014, left here to serve, and then I was connected with some more great people in the community. And they said, we're going to a retreat or something. I didn't know. I just was tagging along. And guess where they tagged me along to? Your home. Where I got to sit where some of the greatest people sat. She said, you could take as many pictures as you want. Just don't share them with nobody but your family and friends. So everything and every moment I have about you is mainly like a heart memory and a head memory. The pictures we don't show, we just keep them to ourselves. But I just want to thank you. Thank you for being a blessing and paving the way for many of us who don't know where we're going and how we're going. And many, many blessings to you.
Powerful, powerful, powerful words, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to bring up Tara. She's going to say a couple words, and then we have a couple more students, and then we have a performance. Amen. There you go. Thank you.
I'll be brief. So I'm Tara, class of 2016, Tacoma campus, whoop whoop. Excuse my attire. I didn't know that this was happening, but I have to take the opportunity to share how grateful I am. I am one of the people that your dream with all the work that you've done has benefited greatly. I didn't even think college was for me. And so my friends started going here, and there was this weird word called lyceum, and these things were happening. And I came and I met like some amazing people. And that day I talked to Dr. Smith and I was like, how do I get in this school? I have to be here. He was like, there's a few steps you got to take, because I hadn't been in school at all, but I made my way, I purposed my way to be at this campus. This is where I learned how to utilize my voice, how to be a change maker, and I am doing, excuse my French, I'm doing the damn thing. And it's because of you, and I have to let you know how much I love you. And you can hear my voice quivering because I'm so grateful. Like, I learned how to dream and achieve here, things I never thought. No one was teaching me that this is the way. We were just surviving. But here I learned to dream and to achieve and set goals and push and encourage other folks. I always talk about Evergreen. I went to Pierce and I went to UW. I don't ever talk about that. Evergreen is where I thrive. And so I just have to share that I appreciate you so greatly. And I love you. And anytime that there's something for you, I'm always here. So I didn't get the memo, but I was driving by and I was like, this parking lot is full for a Friday. I called the front desk and I was like, what is happening? They said, Dr. Mims. I was like, So thank you so very much. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a magnetic personality. The sister says she didn't get the memo, but the parking lot had cars in it. That's all it takes. The parking lot have cars in it. And we thank God for you and appreciate you taking your time out or whatever you was doing to come up here in celebration. Now I want to bring up another graduate that went to school with me, that's graduating this quarter. He's also from Seattle, like me, down in the 981, and his name is Mr. Anthony Tackett. He'll go ahead on and share a few words about his experiences as a student here as well.
Thanks, Steve. So much for hiding behind the camera. Hello, Dr. Mims. My name is Anthony Tackett. I just recently graduated, and this is my first day as an alumni. Yes. Yes, really. Yes. And so G gave me a microphone and said I had to say something. And so I will. So we all heard the stories of what she has built and established. And it's safe to say I'm a product of that, because I walked into those environments that were already built and fought for decades before. Right? The Village Gathering is where I met Dr. Arunga Tate. It's where I met Makeda, Lakima, Brother Aman, right? Limbs, found some great books. Miss Vicky was giving me books. She sold them to me. I had to pay for them. But they came highly recommended, and they were, in fact, life-changing, life-altering. So I've always done production. I started getting calls from people I didn't really know, and they were like, this person that I didn't really know was referring me. They said she insisted on hiring me. This was Dr. Mims. It was the Terry sisters for their Let the Strings Speak concert, which is very large-scale production, we'll say. Many days of planning and rehearsing with cameras. It was a big endeavor for me. You know, I'm usually a crew member. I was put in charge of producing this film. And they called me again next year. I thought I made a little mistake. They called me again the third year because she insisted to keep working with me. And this shadow figure, it's the great Dr. Mims. She walked in, I was like, oh, I thought she'd be a lot taller. She's always sitting, you know, always with her hat low, like, but powerful, because she stood behind what she wanted and had a vision and stuck with it and through it. And so I got a call one day from Dr. Arunga Tate about production. Dr. Tate Arunga. I'm still going to roll my tongue though. Arunga. Tate Arunga. And at that point, we had a bit of a relationship with production. We were doing a lot of things together already. It was just another thing for me. You know, but it was a big thing because I think it was a Juneteenth where I first met Carl Livingston there. Yes. And in the same breath, it was like 11 p.m. I was at the protest all month, tired. And she's like, oh, by the way, you should enroll into Evergreen. I'm the dean now, and I think you'd be a good fit. And I said, sure. I got trauma in my head. I don't know what I'm doing out here on these streets. I need to do some research, so why not? And I checked it out. I applied. Okay, here we go. Ready? Yeah, so I have a shtick where I start talking about my family and I start to cry. It's a regular thing now. Now it's healthy. My mother passed away after I applied, and then I got accepted about a week later, and I had a choice to just walk away from this idea of going to school. I didn't have money anyway. Let's just, or go. And I told my mom before she passed I was going to go through this. I bet you I'm going to graduate in 2 years. And so here I am. So she passed. A week later, we went to the class and met my whole new family. And it was wonderful. Some of them are here still who were there their first day, who also suffered losses, but still kept coming. And we learned a lot. And it's in your legacy. I lost my father last year just kept going. And I'm through a finish line, but I think I departed to serve, because today I'm serving as your live streamer. So folks at home, you're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome. I started the Sankofa Media Club, right? Some of them are here today. Leah on the keys over there, she's like, move over, you're in my seat. And she's driving the show. It's great. And so this is all in the spirit of you, and I appreciate that. I have a film group. Before this, I had a film group called the Seattle Filmmakers of the African Diaspora. It's something, Kibibi, let's talk about that a little bit. Kibibi Montney, also a student here, right? Alumni. Invited me to DC to the Million Man March. And in there, Louis Farrakhan was like, now look at you, brothers and sisters. Look around you. I need you all to go home, and I need you to start a group. Just start a group. Just start a group. Get together and talk about whatever you want to. So I started a film group called the Seattle Filmmakers of the African Diaspora. We're now 450 members strong. Yeah. It's active. We're sharing jobs and tips, and I've done workshops, and white people are starting to see this power, invited me to boards. By the way, I'm vice president, Board of Langston. I'll applaud myself. Yeah, I'm on the board of the SNA, right? But before that, my first board was because of the role I had with the 400 Black people who were talking about filmmaking without white people. And that, I think, made them nervous, because they invited me to be co-chair of that board. And it was just me. And I was like, no. My first order of business is to bring more people into this group, because I do not speak for every single people of the African diaspora. And so I proposed a vote, because, I don't know, I kind of learned some things in school. And we voted in more BIPOC, as they call it, and diversified that board. And now there are 6 of us, 3 women, and a native indigenous. And so that was before I got whipped into this whirlwind with Evergreen. And so my give back is to turn that into a 501c3, bring in the youth, train them, bring them here, right? Come back, check out the Sankofa Media Club, and with your blessing, teach film production. Storytelling in the film production process. And so thank you, Dr. Mims. Thank you. Sorry, I tried to get the tears, but she gave me all this strength, radiating, and just dried them all up.
He does well. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. There's an important piece of information that this young man that's coming back forward didn't share, and it's definitely important. Please, come back up.
Dr. Mims, I want to put something in perspective here. When my daughter went to Evergreen State, I'm a class of 88. I can still remember Dr. Hardiman now. Timothy, you know how she talks, Timothy. I remember when my daughter went to work for the state capitol, and she was working for the AFL-CIO. And you said to her, and I bring this up, you said to her, Timothy, don't let her start from the bottom. You've already did the bottom work. Make them find a position for her. So when I think about that, my daughter is the chief of staff for the governor of the state of Washington right now. First Black ever. And so I'm saying, if you need anything, I got the hookup, Dr. Mims. And I mean it in a real way. Whatever you need, because you were the one that inspired her. And you told her you can go to the top. You don't have to start at the bottom. And she's up in the state capitol running things. If you need any help, anything that pertains to this school, anything that you need, I'm going to show you what the results of your encouragement did. So don't forget that. Don't forget that. Whatever you all need, I want you to let me know. we have somebody in position.
Is he gone? He's gone. Is he gone? Yeah, he's gone. Okay, awesome.
I just want you to know.
Start here. Whatever you need.
Let's go to the rest.
You guys take a break?
So, no, I
Okay.
let them do the song. Who?
Right there.
Yes, I've seen her. We'll do that when she comes back. So
Okay.
we go for your quick. It's okay? Proceed?
You see?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay.
Oh, can I introduce the song? We have two songs we're going to end with. The song we're going to hear now is an instrumental song, so I wanted to let you know. Malaika is a classic African song about a beautiful girl. And the song praises this girl, not just her beauty, but they praise her heart. They praise her passion. They praise all that she has to give. And it's Malaika. It's been a best favorite song. It's a tradition song in Kiswahili. And they are going to, these guys are going to play it shortly. And then we will hear, we have an opera singer here to close. So that will be your final surprise. Yes, you will see. Gentlemen, please.
beautiful. We appreciate you. We appreciate you both. Thank you very much. And thank you for sharing your talents with us. Thank you very much. It didn't fall on deaf ears when they told me whose son you were. It also didn't fall on deaf ears when they told me how you were raised. And I thank God for being in a room full of spiritual people right now. Thank you so much. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to bring another performing artist up. Her name is Jayza, and she's going to go ahead on and, do her thing. She's an opera singer. I don't know if she's going to do opera, but whatever she does, it's going to be great. Let's give it an applause to Jayza. I need you to stand right in the middle of them, too, so I can see you on the film.
Hello. Hi.
Right
Good to see you.
there. Thank you.
So, hello, my name is Jayza Duhan, and I'll be singing Summertime and then an opera piece, okay? Oh, yes. Can you give me some back on Summertime? Give me 1 second. This wasn't pre-planned, so we're just gonna roll with it, okay? Well, I'm just honored to be here. My name is, you guys already know, okay? I go to Highline Community College, and I actually heard the name Dr. Mims for the first time from Elizabeth Ward. And it was just like, this woman is so amazing. I went to the Opera Blue the past week, and I was invited to come and celebrate you, and I'm just honored for that. Okay. You got me? Okay. So I've been doing summer singing since I was about 3, 4. Just grew up in the church, loving music. I started training for opera when I was about 14 years old. I thought I was just going to, work on my voice. I didn't know I would be entering this whole different world. And I feel like a lot of Black people don't understand that there's power in opera. That's a space that we are welcome into, and we don't really recognize it or talk about it too much in the arts, but it is also something I really encourage everyone here to, try to tap into and see, it might resonate with you. Yeah. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. For your daddy's rich, and your mama, she's good looking, yeah. Oh, so hush, little baby, don't you cry.
of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Oh, but till you spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. Oh, until that morning, nothing will harm you. Oh, with mama and daddy standing by. Thank you. Our next selection is I'm just gonna do a verse from an opera piece, okay? It's titled O del mio dolce. O del mio dolce ador, bramato gitu, bramato gitu, lara che tu respiri, al fin respiru, al fin respiru. Ovunque il quadro io giro, le tue vaghe sempionzi, amore in me dipinge, il mio pianser si finge, le più speranzi. E nel desio che così mi empi il petto, cerco-ti, chiamo-ti, spero il sospiro. Del mio dolce ador, bramato gitu, bramato gitu. Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. I'm honored again.
Thank you so much. Oh, wow.
Can I just say one thing about Jasa? Please. So my daughter is an international opera singer, and I met Jasa at the club, okay? The Blue Note in Lakewood, just want to say. And Jasa, with her mama, she had her mama with her. Her mama's always with her. And she was singing in a open mic competition. And I got up and I said, oh, I got to get this baby. I have to. So I've introduced her to the opera community, to the classical community. We went to see her first opera, Blue, in Seattle. You all should see it. It's a black libretto, black composer, all black performance. And Jasa was there for her first time, and we got to meet Dr. Maxine Mims, who has, well, Jasa did, of course. I know Dr. Maxine Mims. And now she's in the Evergreen community, and we have all of these people to wrap their arms around you. And And before she knows it, she may even be an Evergreen student. How about that? Okay? Yes. Yes, because we're going to get her all Evergreen student. You heard me. Founder, Dr. Maxine, that's right here before you. And so I just want to introduce Jasa to the Tacoma Evergreen community. And I just want you to wrap your arms around her and love her because she is to be loved. She came.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, another one? There was some.
All right, everybody. We've had a great, wonderful time, haven't we? Let's just give a hand to our honoree, Dr. Maxine Mims. We love you. We appreciate you. And she wanted me to sing a song. But how about we do, everybody said an amen. Let the church say amen. Everybody said amen. 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 Hallelujah. It's a amen. Everybody said amen. All the young people say amen. 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 Father, we just thank you for this gathering today. We thank you for every soul, every life that has walked into these doors. We thank you for the life of Dr. Maxine Mims and all the lives that she has touched and that will continue to be touched beyond her years. We thank you, God, for every individual, every hand that had a part in putting together this program. We pray, God, that you continue to give us wisdom. You continue to give us strength. You continue to allow us to change this world that you have designed for us to live in liberty, to live in strength, and most of all, to live in abundance. And we thank you, God, for this is your day. This is your hour. And I thank you, God, for the season that you are allowing us to see the work be manifested greater than we've ever seen before. We thank you for the finances that are coming into our communities. We just thank you, Lord, for even our churches being advanced. And I thank you, God, for everything that you're doing now and forever. And we love Dr. Mims, and we thank you for being our friend and our family member, our mother, our sister, our auntie. And we just thank God for all of you. For I want you to know that God is with each and every one of you. And we are here to do a work on this earth until he calls us up into glory. God bless you all. Yeah.